Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, members of the Finance Committee. I'm going to be repetitive very briefly because the line was just so good I have to use it again. We heard the governor's staff state pretty bluntly that they are imposing a tax on gun services to disincentivize gun usage. We know that in New York State, in New York City, they impose taxes on sugary drinks. Everywhere across the country, we tax a lot of tax on cigarettes because we don't want people smoking as much. And now we hear that we want to impose a sales tax on design services, interior design services, and near dear to my heart, technology. So, and I want to say that you can't have it both ways. You either use taxes to disincent things, but you can't then turn around and impose a tax on an entire industry and pretend like you're not harming that industry. You are. So I find that it's incredible that we are so focused on trying to stuff technology businesses into the Wexford and all other kinds of things, but yet we're proposing high-level tax policies that move us in the exact opposite direction. It makes no sense whatsoever. The other thing I'm going to say ad hoc, I have actually, first time ever, I brought some prepared statements tonight. But before I get to them, the other thing, I don't know if you can hear the murmurings from the crowd as some things were discussed in the governor's staff's presentation. As they discussed some of the issues, some of the items that were open to taxation, others that were exempted from taxation, there were these waves of, are you kidding me, basically, as we listened to something that on its face is ridiculous. We don't tax kegs, but we want to tax technology businesses. Party on, Rhode Island, right? That's kind of what I took away listening to that, and it's nonsensical. So, and by the way, the huge variation in what we tax and what we don't tax, it's a random mess. And I think that there is some real logic to trying to square that away a little bit, because there really are some big unfairnesses in terms of, by the way, I haven't seen a tax proposed on lawyers. Okay? Now, coming out of the legislature, I understand why, because there's an awful lot of lawyers in this room, right? And I'm not proposing that we should tax any services, but it's interesting what they decide to tax and what they don't. Okay. So, we all want more technology businesses, and we want more businesses in general in Rhode Island. This technology tax moves us in the wrong direction. Bad systems make for bad business, and you don't have to look any further than UHIP to understand the truth of that statement, okay? Technology is expensive. Look at the proposed timesheet upgrade that the governor's office has proposed. More than $50 million to bring in a new human resources system that would give us electronic timesheets and some other human resources functionality. That's for 15,000 state workers. Imagine needing to pay a 7% tax on that. That would be more than $3.5 million. We have some big companies in this state, and you can now begin to appreciate what this 7% tax could mean for some of their larger technology projects. And make no mistake, the bigger the business, the more you have to do customizations to the software, because, look, off-the-shelf software is you go buy QuickBooks. It's a accounting package you stick on your PC, okay? Sure, you can tax that. But if you want to try and shoehorn in a gigantic payroll system or anything else, you always have to make those changes. And technology is the lifeblood of Rhode Island business. The state really has no business taxing that. You're going to put all Rhode Island business at a substantial disadvantage. It's idiotic, okay? I have to say what it is. It's truly, truly dumb. Most medium and large businesses have to purchase technology. We already have one of the worst business environments in the country. Why is there a push to make our lack of business friendliness worse? That's what this tax proposes to do. Commerce Rhode Island has stated, and governor's staff stated in front of you here tonight, that since Rhode Island taxes off-the-shelf software, that it's only fair that you also tax custom-built software. And it really, that statement displays a total lack of understanding of technology. Imagine Commerce Rhode Island or the governor's staff saying that since you have to pay tax when you buy a shed at Home Depot, that therefore it's only fair that you now should pay tax on the construction of a home. That kind of difference between buying a pre-built shed and a house is the kind of difference between buying an off-the-shelf piece of software and custom building a gigantic deliverable for a big business or even a medium-sized business. Many of the businesses that this technology tax will hit do not typically deal with sales tax, okay? Now, I should have said this up front. This tax, interestingly, will not affect my company. We are not currently supplying any consulting services to any in-state Rhode Island business, okay? So I actually don't stand to gain anything from beating back this bill personally. I don't have a lobbying badge. I don't want to get in trouble, okay? So, now, but a lot of technology businesses don't deal with sales tax because they've been doing services all along. Rhode Island's tax department, when it comes to sales tax in particular, can be a very difficult place to do business. I have a business that sells golf belts at retail on top of the tech. It's really strange, I know, but they don't. I have this business, and I have left messages with the tax department for months, and I can't get a call back. Okay? And I would appreciate that because I'm having trouble filling out the forms I have to fill out that are a new requirement for sales tax this year. Now, if I can't get that service out of the tax department now, what happens to customer service when many, many more businesses now need to navigate the sales tax department at the Rhode Island Department of Revenue? I'd not encourage that we're going to be okay there. You have an impossible job to convince business leaders that you need to raise their taxes, while you deny them the budget transparency and the accountability that comes with the line item veto. I had to get that in there. We all have checks and balances on our budgets, and so do 44 other states. So should our state. You're also going to have a hard time convincing the people of Rhode Island that these proposed new tax dollars will be well spent. Look at UHIP, which was billed as a system that would save us money, but instead has cost us dearly. Look at a $3 million pedestrian bridge that ballooned up to more than $20 million. I could go on, and I promise you I won't. But you'll have to forgive me for believing that our tax dollars are being dumped into what many people would consider a murky, bottomless pit. Most importantly, if you don't remember anything else I tell you, remember this. Businesses need stability. Rhode Island is not a stable place to do business because pretty much every year, business owners have to come here to defend themselves from some bill or another that is going to make their job harder, that will harm their businesses, that will harm our economy. We need tax stability because a brand new tax out of the blue that can add hundreds of thousands or millions of unexpected cost to projects that all of our businesses have to do can wreak havoc at a great many companies. We need regulatory stability. We need to be able to focus on growing our businesses in a very challenging place and time. But instead, we have to come here. I'm here tonight, there's some other business owners here tonight, imploring you not to make our jobs more difficult. We need you to make our state more competitive, not less. Please.